So Mike, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So I guess just after just over a year in the role at the co-op, how would you describe your achievement so far, and how it's kind of compared to your hopes and expectations for the role?
Well, we've had a great year at the Co-op. A lot of people have come in the last year, plus some great talent that was already here, and we've spent a year helping colleagues at the Co-op who are already well underway with a rebuild plan. So the Co-op has had some problems a few years ago, and Richard Pennycook and his executive team, Alan Layton and the board, quite rightly decided that we had a three-stage approach. The first was to recognise that the organisation needed to come out of a crisis stage. We're now into a rebuild stage, and we're another year before we go into renewal. So we've spent a lot of time through the rebuild stage in basically putting in the basic functions and developing our skills and capabilities, as well as fixing some things which had been unattended in the previous few years. It's not all been remedial, though, because in that time we've relaunched successfully our membership program. The Co-op is owned by its members. We are a member-owned organisation, and providing member value and with values and ethics behind the group is what we exist for. So we have reset that. There's now 5% back to you and 1% for your community for every Co-op branded products and services. And we're already seeing a substantial rise in new members joining us, and also old members who had lapsed coming back and presenting their membership. And as you've probably seen, the Co-op brand has been reset. Our Pioneer program is underway. We're transforming hundreds of our stores, over 500 now, plus the new old brand treatment, which you've probably seen. Our bags are very fashionable these days, as they should be. And essentially, our organisation is getting ready for a renewal period, and my job is to assist that and to bring in new people with new skills who are, as well as fixing some of the basics, who are then starting to transform our existing businesses and particularly our membership proposition. So we've got teams of people who are transforming our funeral care business. We've looked at our wills and services, and we've also now starting to make inroads into our biggest business, which is our food business, to start with some alphas there to demonstrate different ways of digital working in that very big business. So it's been a terrific year, and it's crowned by our recent opening of our new building in Manchester called Federation. And the Federation is the idea behind that is that building will home a federation of cooperative oriented digital organizations, and we really feel that we can act as the center of the nascent digital economy up in Manchester and in the northwest. So good year so far, but we've got a lot to do.
You mentioned that it's about fixing the basics. What do you define as the basics of a digitally mature business today?
Internally, it's capability and capacity, but many of the working processes and literally the ways we work. So, publishing, not sending, moving away from fixed line parts of jobs and processes, and using the tools of the web and the open internet a core part of everyone's job. We're not there yet by a long way. We have 73,000 colleagues. Many of those are currently underserved in terms of digital skills and tools, and we're getting through that through 2017. But we have to start with our central teams. That's when we've done that, and getting people to use the tools of the open internet. The digital really is about using the tools and the culture of the open internet to transform large and legacy organizations. We've made a very good start in the first year of that, but the Co-op has been around since 1844, and our 170-year plus history means that we've got a substantial amount of legacy to transform.
I guess that's a unique element to the Co-op, as is the fact that you have this, I think, over a million person strong membership group, effectively, which I guess creates challenges and opportunities simultaneously. How are you trying to activate such a big group and take advantage of that opportunity?
It's much bigger than that. So to be clear, we are the cooperative group, and that means that we consist of our food business, our consumer services business, so insurance, funerals, wills, probate, and so on, and a small digital business, which is our electricals division. And that group then reports to a group board, obviously, and that board is part of the wider cooperative society. There is also the Co-op Bank, which we don't run and operate, so please don't send me your customer service issues. You need to send those to the bank. But we do own, we are one of 7 shareholders of that bank. We own just over 20%. So that's our structure. Our membership, and one of the big things we've done this year is reset our definition of active members. We have today just under 3.5 million active members. We define active in 2 ways. Firstly, in our food business, someone who has traded with us and presented their membership at a point of sale or later online in our food business within a 3-month period. And for our services businesses, because you may only buy an insurance policy once a year, within a 12-month window. And that's quite a narrow definition. Now, clearly, we've got a lot of other people who have been members in the past or have been members of other affiliated businesses. But right now, we're down to just under 3.5 million members. We publish those figures. You can find those on our website. And we also openly change them as much as possible. We're trying, I talked about our AGM being radical transparency. One of the things we need to do as a member organisation is talk to our members and give them the membership data that frankly is theirs anyway. So we're doing that now, and we are already seeing, since our launch on September 21st of our updated membership scheme, the 5-in-1, we're already seeing a substantial number of new members joining in the tens of thousands a week. And we're over 250,000 new members already, and we're seeing a good amount of money being reclaimed under the 5-in-1 schemes. 1%, remember, goes to community causes. We have, I think, over 2,500 community causes who've registered to be community causes through the Co-op. So we're building all the elements of a wide, distributive, virtuous community with a compelling economic model underneath that.
And so what is an example of how you're using digital to do that effectively?
Well, so a simple example. So for many years, the Co-op has, and its businesses have provided value for its community members. Today, if you're in a local community, you're a Co-op member, you can select or you can decide with your local colleagues and community that a certain scheme or a charity or a project you believe is worthy of receiving the 1% return that people will select when they buy Co-op branded products and services. So let's say it's a local community group. Then you can then put digitally. You can nominate your site and your project. You can get that on if it's validated by a local community. You can get that onto the Co-op scheme, and that means that millions of people who traded the Co-op can choose to give their 1% to your service. That all happens digitally. It happens via website. You can check that out at cooperative/causes, and you can see through digital means and tools, you can see local cooperative community investments happening, all by virtue of the digital services we're creating. We also have community pioneers. We have hundreds of people who work in our stores and also who are around in our communities who can help you on that journey as well.
Wow. And how did you try and understand what digital tools and services your membership wanted or needed? Or was it a matter of you devising them internally and then testing it with them first?
No, I would say we've not answered that question. What we have to do is continue listening and watching. Many big organisations fall for the empty pub syndrome. They create their own tools, they create their own environments, they create a load of services that they think people want, only to find out people are already engaging in their community in a variety of different ways digitally. What we're doing is giving our members the choice and trying to take the conversation to where they are, rather than make them use the tools and services that we're providing. So whilst we do provide a bunch of digital services ourselves, I talked about causes as one of them, we also are exposing the data and the services to the wider open internet so that the tool set can be whatever open internet tool that our members and customers would want to use. We're not trying to impose a central model on them.
So, having discussed the digital opportunities for your members, you mentioned the 73,000 employees that the Co-op has. How have you tried to evangelise the need to transform digitally to such a wide, diverse group who may not have the digital skills required to leverage those services?
Well, it's a good question. We're not there yet. That's the most underserved group. And what we've done this year is do the physical work. So my colleague Pippa Wicks and others have been running an amazing scheme, Back to Being Co-op and being a co-op leader, where we bring people together. I think over 60,000 people have been brought together in a variety of ongoing meetings, and we as leaders attend many of those and present at them, where we talk to people, talk about reset what it is about being in the co-op, demonstrate the sort of leadership tools and services that they can then use as leaders in their own areas and regions and businesses, and also reset our organisation back for being a member-first organisation. That process has demonstrated to us that there is a very high demand for digital tools and services, not just in store and in funeral care homes and in insurance businesses, but also in our wider community. It's enabled us now to do a lot of test and learn, and we've got dozens of projects already underway where we're testing digital services in those communities. We will then listen to our members, listen to our member colleagues, and provide them with the best services through 2017.
And Mike, lastly, just I'm conscious of your time. So, as you enter the next phase of your digital transformation at the Co-op, what's the one thing that you're really hoping to achieve that when you walk away you can hold your head up and say, I'm proud of doing that?
Well, I think that resetting the organisation as a member-based organisation for the digital age is the reason why the Co-op is such an attractive and actually unique place to work and a place to be a member of. There are some interesting territories ahead of us. We have the whole privacy and surveillance area. We have new ways of working in our economy, everything ranging from the sharing economy to the people who are digitally disconnected. We have an entire generation growing up with skills and life experiences, particularly in the labour market, that are hugely different from those of many of our members. What our job is to do is to navigate and grow the Co-op as a digital organisation, that its values and ethics, and indeed the value it gives to society and to its members, is meeting the current needs and the future needs of its members in a digital economy.
Perfect. Thank you for your time, Mike. Much appreciated.